My husband said, "That guy isn't your friend." I ignored him and met him for drinks anyway, until my husband walked into the bar. My friend laughed and said, "She deserves a real man." My husband punched him so hard he dropped. Then he tossed his wedding ring at me and said, "You can pawn this. You'll need the money." I never thought I'd be the one to share a story like this, but here I am, hoping my experience might serve as a cautionary tale. My name's Laura, 38, from Chicago. I've been married to Mark for 15 years. Mark's an architect, dedicated, hardworking, often buried in blueprints and designs. Our life together was stable, predictable even. Maybe too predictable. Over the years, the spark that once ignited our relationship dimmed. Routine became our norm, and I found myself yearning for something more. Enter Jake. Jake was a new colleague at the marketing firm where I work. Charismatic, attentive, with a knack for making mundane tasks feel exciting. We started having lunch together, sharing stories, laughing at inside jokes. He listened in a way I felt Mark hadn't in years. It was intoxicating. One evening, after a particularly stressful day, Jake suggested we grab drinks after work. I hesitated. It felt inappropriate. But the allure of his attention was strong. I mentioned it to Mark that night. "That guy isn't your friend," Mark said, his voice firm. "I don't trust his intentions." I brushed off his concerns, attributing them to jealousy or overprotectiveness. After all, Jake was just a friend, right? Despite Mark's reservations, I agreed to meet Jake for drinks the following Friday. We chose a cozy bar downtown, one I'd frequented with Mark in our earlier years. The irony didn't escape me. Friday arrived. I told Mark I'd be working late, a half-truth that gnawed at my conscience. At the bar, Jake was already waiting, a warm smile on his face. The ambience was inviting, dim lighting, soft jazz playing in the background. We found a secluded booth and ordered our drinks. Conversation flowed effortlessly. We talked about work, dreams, regrets. Jake's compliments became more personal, his touches more lingering. I felt a thrill I hadn't experienced in years. Then, everything changed. I felt a hand on my shoulder. Turning, I met Mark's eyes, hurt, anger, betrayal all etched into his face. My heart plummeted. Before I could speak, Jake smirked and said, "She deserves a real man." Time seemed to slow. Mark's fist clenched and in a blur, he punched Jake square in the jaw. Jake fell back, knocking over his drink, the sound echoing in the now silent bar. Mark then removed his wedding ring, placed it on the table in front of me, and said, "You can pawn this. You'll need the money." Without another word, he turned and walked out, leaving me in a whirlwind of emotions, shame, guilt, and profound regret. In the days that followed, I tried reaching out to Mark, but he was resolute. Our marriage ended in divorce. I was left to reflect on my actions and the pain I had caused. To anyone reading this, cherish the relationships you have. Think twice before making decisions that could irreparably harm those you love. The grass isn't always greener, and the thrill of the moment can lead to a lifetime of regret. After Mark walked out of that bar, everything inside me crumbled. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying it, his face, the punch, those words. I stared at the ring for hours. I still don't know why I kept it. Maybe out of guilt. Maybe I thought holding on to it would somehow hold on to him. Jake texted me later that night. "Sorry that ended like that." He overreacted. I didn't reply. I didn't even know what to say. It wasn't about Mark overreacting. It was about what I did to him. What I did to us. And the worst part? I wasn't even sure what I wanted from Jake. I just knew I was lonely, and he made me feel something I hadn't felt in years. I called Mark. Straight to voicemail. I called again. And again. Nothing. His side of the bed was cold the next night, and the one after that. I knew he wasn't coming back. 2 weeks later, a mutual friend texted me. Mark took a few days off. Said he's staying at his brother's in Milwaukee. That stung. Not because he left, but because he didn't tell me. Because he didn't think I deserved to know. Work became a nightmare. Word had started to spread. Jake didn't help. He had a big mouth. I overheard him laughing about it in the break room, telling someone she was married, but that marriage was dead. That was the moment it hit me. He never cared. Not about me. Not about my marriage. He wanted the chase. The attention. And I was foolish enough to give it to him. The next day, I confronted him. Told him to stay away from me. Told HR everything. They said they'd look into it. But by then, the damage was done. People looked at me differently. Whispers. Stares. I became that woman. Then came the real twist. 3 weeks after that night at the bar, I got a message from someone I didn't know. A woman named Zoe. She wrote, "Hey, you don't know me, but I know Jake. Just wanted to warn you. You're not the first. And you won't be the last." She sent screenshots, conversations, flirty messages, even pictures. Jake had been doing this with multiple women in the office. Married women. Single ones. It didn't matter. It was a game to him. I sat there shaking. I'd torn apart my marriage for a man who treated women like disposable toys, who laughed about it afterward, who probably never remembered half of their names. I tried calling Mark again. Not to beg, just to talk. Still voicemail. I left one message. Just said I was sorry. Said I didn't expect anything, I just needed to say it. Then came another surprise. A week later, I came home to find my sister, Jess, waiting outside my apartment. She looked angry. Get in, she said. We're going for a drive. She drove in silence until we pulled into a small cafe near the lake. It was quiet, almost empty. She sat across from me and didn't speak for a long time. Finally, she said, Mark came to see me. My stomach flipped. He looked destroyed, Laura. Not angry. Just gone. Like someone ripped out everything good in him. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just sat there. Said he didn't know how to keep breathing. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I cried right there in that cafe with strangers watching. Just let me cry. Then she said something that still echoes in my head. You need to stop trying to fix this for you. You don't get to decide when he's ready. You shattered his trust. You broke something sacred. If you love him, really love him, you need to back off. Let him heal. On his time. That hit me hard. So I stopped calling. I stopped sending messages. I didn't go to his brother's place. I disappeared from his world. For now. But just when I thought the chaos had slowed, something else happened. Jake got fired. Apparently HR finally did something after Zoe came forward too. Then another woman. And another. It was bigger than I thought. A pattern. Manipulation. Abuse of power. All tied to Jake. And in a strange way, that made me feel worse. Because I had been one of them. But I had also been part of the damage. Not just to myself. Not just to Mark. But to other women. I had let it happen. And that guilt is something I still carry. But I'm not done yet. There's more. And it only gets harder from here. A month passed. Every day felt heavier than the last. I was barely holding myself together, but I did what Jess told me. I gave Mark space. Still, that didn't mean I stopped thinking about him. Every night before bed, I would wonder where he was sleeping, if he was eating, if he missed me. I wasn't sure what I wanted anymore. I just knew that whatever we had, it used to be real. And now it was broken. Then something strange happened. I got a message from Mark's mom. She never reached out to me, not once in all the years we were married. She always stayed polite but distant. So getting a message from her? That was weird. She said, we need to talk. I think you deserve to know something. We met at a diner just outside the city. She looked tired. Older, somehow. She didn't waste time. Mark told us what happened, she said. I won't lie, I was furious. I told him he was stupid for staying in touch with you. That caught me off guard. What do you mean? He hasn't talked to me in weeks. She hesitated. Looked away. He lied. She pulled out her phone and showed me messages. Texts between Mark and someone saved as me. But they weren't mine. I never sent them. I don't understand, I said, my voice shaking. They started a week after you stopped calling him, she said. He told us you were trying to fix things. Said you were begging him to meet. That you were going to therapy. That you left your job. I stared at her. I never sent those. I didn't write a single word. She looked at me, her face unreadable. Then who did? And that's when it hit me. Someone had been pretending to be me. And not just texting, really playing the part. I had no idea how, but someone was sending messages to Mark, pretending to be me. Pretending I was trying to manipulate him. Later that night, I drove straight to Jess's apartment. She was the only person I had trusted with everything, my passwords, my phone when I was too drunk to type, everything. She looked nervous the second I walked in. Tell me the truth, I said. She didn't ask what I meant. She sighed, sat down, and said, I thought I was helping. Turns out, after our talk at the cafe, she thought I would fall apart. That I'd spiral, maybe do something reckless. So she started messaging Mark from a burner number. Pretending to be me. Telling him what she thought he needed to hear. Hoping it would bring him back. I was stunned. You catfished my husband. She flinched. I didn't mean harm. I thought if he saw you trying, if he saw you changing, it would soften him. I didn't think he'd believe it. But he did. And when he started replying, I didn't know how to stop. I walked out. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just left. Because now everything was worse. Now, Mark thought I'd lied to him again. That I'd played with his feelings all over. And I didn't even know what he'd said back. What he might have revealed, thinking he was talking to me. So I made a decision. I needed to talk to him in person. No phones. No messages. No more middlemen. I drove to Milwaukee. When I got there, I waited outside his brother's building for hours. Finally, around sunset, I saw him walking up the street with a grocery bag in hand. He looked different. Thinner. worn down, but still him. He saw me, stopped, didn't come closer. I stood up. I didn't send those messages, I said. It was Jess. I didn't know. He didn't say anything. I'm not here to fix it. I'm not here to beg. I just needed you to know the truth. He looked away, then back at me. His voice was quiet. I told that number everything. My stomach dropped. Everything? He nodded. Things I shouldn't have said. I was angry. I wanted to hurt you. I thought you were playing games again. He stepped closer, now only a few feet away. But if it wasn't you, then I've been screaming at a ghost. The silence between us felt like a cliff. Do you want to know what I said? He asked. I nodded. And what he told me next changed everything. But that's a part of the story I'll get to next. Because nothing prepared me for what Mark said after that. Mark and I stood there in the fading light on that Milwaukee sidewalk, the air thick with everything we hadn't said. He looked tired, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So did I. You want to know what I said? He repeated, voice low. I said I hated you. That I wished I never met you. That you disgusted me. That every year with you was a lie I told myself was worth it. I didn't move. I couldn't. He shook his head, swallowing hard. I told you, well, who I thought was you, that I had dreams about choking on my anger. That I'd lie awake wanting to scream. That I didn't know who I was anymore without you, and that made me hate myself more than I hated you. I felt a crack go through me like ice splitting under boots. He kept going. I told you I loved you so much I wanted to destroy every memory of you. Burn every photo. Smash every dish we picked out together. I wanted to erase you. But I couldn't. Because even when I hate you, I still... He stopped himself. Closed his eyes. I wanted to speak. I really did. But no words came. He looked at me then, straight into my face. You cheated on me. You threw us away. And then I thought you came crawling back, saying all the right things. And I thought, maybe, if you really meant it, maybe I could start to forgive. But it wasn't even you. I poured my guts out to a fake version of you. I bled for nothing. I know, I said, my voice finally breaking. I know I destroyed us. I own it. But I never wanted you to feel that pain all over again. I never asked her to do it. I never wanted that. And then it hit both of us at the same time. We were broken in two different timelines. I broke him in the past. Jess reopened the wound, pretending to be me, giving him false hope. A new kind of betrayal layered on top of the old one. Why did you even come here? He asked. To say the truth. One time. In person. He nodded. Well, you did. Then the front door opened. His brother, Mike, stepped out onto the porch. He saw me, and his face went cold. You need to leave, he said. You've done enough. Mark didn't stop him. He didn't say a word. So I walked away. 3 weeks passed. I went no contact again. Deleted Jake's number. Deleted Jess's. Not out of anger, out of necessity. I started therapy. Alone. Not for anyone else, but because I had to start facing what I let happen. What I chose to happen. One day, I was walking through Grant Park in Chicago, and I ran into someone I didn't expect, one of Mark's old college friends, Brian. He recognized me immediately and gave a tight-lipped smile. Heard what happened, he said. Everyone did. Of course they did. I just wanted to say, he continued, Mark's not perfect. But he loved you. That was real. I nodded. It still is. For me. He hesitated. I'm not trying to make you feel worse, but you should know. Mark's seeing someone. I froze. Brian gave me a shrug. She's nice. Works at his new firm. Took him a while to open up, from what I hear. But, yeah, that was it. The final blow. I thanked him, walked away, and didn't cry. Not right then. I waited until I got home. Until I was alone. Then I broke. But strangely, it wasn't because Mark was moving on. It was because for the first time, I realized he deserved to. The aftermath wasn't a dramatic storm out. No screaming. Just silence. Just slow, bitter healing. The kind that leaves scars you don't show people. Jess tried to apologize. I told her I forgave her, but we don't talk anymore. Some betrayals don't need to be screamed about. They just go quiet and stay that way. Jake? Gone. Fired. No one at work talks about him anymore. He disappeared as quickly as he slithered in. Me? I started writing again. I started walking more. Talking to strangers less. I don't trust easily. I don't want to, not yet. As for Mark, I saw him once more. 6 months later. In a bookstore of all places. He looked happy. Peaceful. He nodded at me. I nodded back. That was it. We'll never get back what we had. That story ended. And maybe that's what it was meant to do. But I learned. I learned that love doesn't make you invincible. That temptation doesn't always look like danger. It can look like attention, like laughter, like someone who says just enough of the right things. I learned that trust, once broken, is a wound that might heal but never forgets. And I learned that forgiveness isn't a gift you get. It's one you earn if you're lucky. We didn't get back together. He moved on. I stayed single. But I changed. Not for him. For me. Because I couldn't live as that woman forever. I had to become someone else. Someone better. Even if no one ever saw it. Even if I walked that path alone.
الغنوة اللي جاية دي حضراتكم هقولوها معايا، يعني انتوا ورغبتكم، بس انتوا اول ما هتسمعوها هتعرفوا. انما انا عايز اقول لكم هي كلمات مين؟ هي كلمات الدكتور مدحت العدل والحان خالد حماد وتوزيعه برضه. هنغنيها اول ما تسمعوا الدخول، هتغنوا معانا على طول.